Yes, Spurs fans, welcome back to the Irish Hotspur. This is going to be your Twitter reacts for the day after our great win against Doncaster Rovers 3-0. That's probably what most Spurs fans had wanted from the get-go, but Dave and I have been discussing. I wonder if the standards have risen slightly since Thomas Frank has come in, and since we've been picking up so many results, feels like some people are still left a little bit wanting of maybe a slightly better performance. But feel free to disagree with us on the comments or let us know what your thoughts on the game were, and especially the individual performances, which has, for whatever reason, really highlighted, what I've been able to pick up on Twitter. Not as much funny stuff as I would have liked, but there is
No.
maybe a bit more than the Brighton game. That was actually a slight disappointment, I think, in the Brighton Twitter react. There wasn't really a whole lot of funny stuff. It's kind of more just random analysis. That's good because, it's nice to hear from what other people have to think instead of me and Dave talking the whole time. But we'll get straight into it. Smash the like button, please, everybody. Do get into the comments below. Let us know what your favorite of the tweets were, and also let us know anything that you've seen that we've put on screen here that you have an opinion of or that you would like us to chat about. James from Spurs Related, Dave, thought this was interesting because even though I'm not Johnson's biggest fan, I'm not sure if he's right about this one. Saying Johnson just loves a goal even when he hasn't played well. That is true a lot of the times, like plenty of
Yeah.
times. I think that is true about Johnson. This game, I wouldn't say so. I think this is the wrong time to tweet this out from Jamesy boy.
I think you could say for every other goal Brennan Johnson has scored in his Tottenham career, that's been the case. But this time around,
Would
I
disagree.
think he actually had a decent game. He done exactly what we've asked our wingers to do. So I think maybe James is maybe just looking to stir the pot here. If I know James as well as I do, I don't think he believes in it. I think maybe he's just looking to stir the pot.
Yeah, maybe a little engagement there. Dark Knight saying, from, I think this is a tweet from earlier. So Tell has failed his audition for the 20th time now from Felon82. These are the comments that I picked out that you guys can analyze. Someone wrote, thank F that you guys were all too young when Bale broke through. You would have hounded him out of the club. Whilst he's still left back. Pathetic. Have some patience. He's only 19. Someone else wrote, thank God we didn't make that loan permanent. After all his failed auditions. Oh, wait. Then someone else responded to Fallon saying he's playing out of position. To be fair to him, I can't write him off till he gets at least 5 games in a row in his natural position. A few comments there. I think Dave would agree with me when I say I think that's ludicrous to just expect someone who's not necessarily playing well to be given just 5 games in a row. Like, that's never realistic for a club of our size and in the competitions that we're in. If you're not playing well, you don't automatically get given another opportunity in the first team. I just think that's ludicrous. It's just sincerely not realistic to not even football, but sports in general of a high level, really. It's just not how it
If you want
works.
to lose games, yeah. I mean, let's do that.
To dare is too dear. This was, I just thought, a funny comment saying, oh, if only, yeah, thank God we didn't make it permanent. Oh, wait. But Dave, is Mathys Tell's case similar to a Gareth Bale's? Just quickly.
No, look, I think, how many times has that realistically happened? You know what I mean? Harry Redknapp came in and he moved Gareth Bale from left back to left wing, and he sort of unlocked, Gareth Bale in general. But not everyone's going to be Gareth Bale. Not everyone's going to have the same
Yeah.
story as Gareth Bale. That's what makes Gareth Bale unique. You can't just use, one of the best players to ever grace the game, and use that as your example for every single player moving forward. At the end of the day, yeah, I think Gareth Bale, what was it? Did he go, was it like 12 or 22 games, something like that,
Where he
where he
played and
didn't
we
win a
lost.
game?
Yeah.
But I mean, Mathys Tell has already been here. He had a lot of games last season, didn't make the impact. He came off the bench against PSG, failed to make an impact. West Ham up front, failed to make an impact. You're thinking Doncaster Rovers, go and grab yourself a goals, confidence boost, shut people like me up. Failed to make an impact. Like, I'm not being funny, but sitting there defending the guy on Twitter ain't going to do that, and it's not going to make him play better. At the end of the day, the criticism comes around because he's just not performing well. I
Yeah.
get that he's 19 years of age. I get it. Let's not go too overboard. You don't want to ruin the kid altogether. However, it's only him that can put it right by performing.
And just also as well, this is some things Dave said in the past, but I do feel like when people are like, "Oh, what help are you?" Like, you're just killing the guy's
Mm.
confidence. Like, if he's seriously being rattled by what people are saying on Twitter, that's just like basic critique and criticism. If he gets rattled by that, he's not going to be able to make it at the top level. Just simple as, like, you have to have the ability to be able to block that out or just not pay attention to it. Really, it's just what it is, to be honest. Um,
Well, that ends that conversation.
well, I don't know. Like, you've
Bang
said
on
that in the
point.
past.
Yeah,
I agree. Like, you've made that point a million times. It's like when people have responded to tweets like this saying like, you're offering no help. You're only killing his confidence even more. It's like, if he's really reading these Twitter threads right now, he's already gone, as it is.
yeah.
Like, he has no chance of surviving. And that's just regardless of whatever take you might have about the guy, whether you like him or you don't like him. Jersey Spurs saying last season, City, United, and Liverpool in the League Cup. Newcastle away this year. Cheers, Dave. We haven't been given the draws that we would like. Even
It just
Fulham,
seems.
for the first game was also like a little ridiculous. I think we had Wolves that one time against Nuno in the first games of the season. It's not been kind to us.
I just feel like the draw's rigged. I just feel like, every time they're looking to get us out of this competition, and that we beat Newcastle, we'll probably go and get Liverpool, or something in the next round. It's
Liverpool away.
disgusting. We just have bad luck in the draws. Why can't we go back to, what was it, 20 or 2021 under Jose Mourinho? We had such an easy run all the way to the final.
Yeah. This was another one kind of similar to the Fallon tweet from earlier. Harry Scarf, love Harry, but he wrote this: tell unlucky to have not scored tonight. Just wouldn't go in for him, he
You have to
said.
be able
So
to
it
strike
seemed
the
to
ball.
think that he was unlucky. And this is what some people wrote. Well, he did completely miss the ball from 8 yards
Yeah.
out twice. Steve Haywood saying, I think connecting with the ball would have helped him. So I kind of agree with those follow up tweets. It's like, yeah, like, I don't know if unlucky is the right word. I think I know what Harry's trying to say. He was in the right places at the right time. He had opportunities, but to say he was unlucky, I wouldn't know about that.
No.
Um, Leslie just pointing out that Joao Palhinha seems to love his time here, and that's been kind of his celebration. He's doing the Gareth Bale trademark celebration a few times
No,
since
look, I
coming
think
here.
I think what I think what you're seeing though, Jack, is a guy that's just enjoying playing again.
Yeah,
He made what he thought was a dream move to Bayern Munich. It didn't go well for him. He couldn't get in the team. I think what you're seeing is, and when you're getting towards the end of your career, you start to sort of be a bit philosophical. You want to play as many minutes as you can. You want to get as many games into you can because you know it's coming to an end. I think what you're seeing with Paulinia is a guy that sort of, had that, used that, and is now kicking on to a new level.
This is an interesting thought point from LJ saying tonight's game versus League One Doncaster Rovers would have been the perfect game to give both Romero and Van de Ven some rest, given their prior injury records. However, we've let Vuskovic go out on loan. Davies is still injured, and our only fit center back is Danzo. Really poor squad planning from us. Do you agree with him on that? Like, Vuskovic could have stuck around?
Well, yeah, I mean, we were all sort of perplexed when he sort of was allowed to go out on loan. Now, I do believe he was the main driving force behind,
Because he wants to
going
play.
out on loan because he wants to go out and play. And look, rightly so. This kid, he dominated the Croatian league from the age of 14. He went into the Polish league at 16, dominated that. He went into the Belgian league at 17, dominated that. And he believes that he's good enough to play. And rightly so. From what we've seen in the impact from the Reading game, I thought he'd be very useful to Frank, especially from set pieces and stuff. I thought there would have been more of use. And also at the time, we knew Toko Takai was nowhere near ready. We knew Ben Davies wasn't ready. We knew Radu Dragosin wouldn't be ready. So it's sort of a decision that leaves you scratching your head there. A
Yeah.
game like tonight would have been ideal for him. But I guess when you've got a player that's going, I'm not sitting around here for talking minutes. I want to get out and
Yeah.
play. I guess it's sort of,
Your hand is
in order to
forced.
keep the kid happy, I think you've sort of got to allow him to do it, right? Because if you don't, all of a sudden, then he starts looking for a permanent move out.
I think that's well broken down by you. Just thought it was an interesting thought there. Mango saying Poro trying to recreate that Burnley goal
Yeah,
every match.
yeah. Honestly,
Just one of the best gifts of all time is that Luka Doncic just completely.
at one stage, the ball didn't even land near him, and he already had his leg up in the volley position, ready to hit it, just in case.
Yeah, he was going for worldies that game. None of them were pulling off. Christina saying haters can hate, but Johnson had a great game, provided some vital passes, but sadly no one to finish it. Glad he got the goal at the end. I actually agree with Christina this time, despite not
Yep.
being Johnson's biggest fan. And I wonder just how much I'm just rocking people's minds, that I am showing this sort of love for Johnson after tonight's performance shows that I can occasionally be fair. Um, Someone wrote, uh, every time I hear, oh, sorry, let me cheat. Oh, yeah, sorry. So this was Christina's tweet. And then this is what Zeus had to say. He's really good at dunking on trash. So again, I tried to find some funny tweets here and there. Zeus being absolutely brutal there. I think it's a little too harsh, to be honest, but I did appreciate it. Spurs Express saying Thomas Frank describes Pop Montasar's absence from the squad today as a precaution every
It's
time I hear
worrying.
the words precaution or knock.
Yeah, that's worrying. It just basically means his return is up in the air.
Someone even replied, I didn't include that one, but someone said he's probably dead. That's what someone said when he said precaution. Jake saying, cheers, no way did our bricklayer just score a bicycle kick. I told you I
Brilliant.
tried to
Well done,
find some
Jake.
funny stuff. Both Luca William Barnett and Janai Byfield seem to be in the first team squad tonight. Both have come a long way. I remember watching this video when it came out, wondering if any of those kids could one day play for Spurs. There they are, Janai Byfield, with Kyle Walker Peters, Luca Williams Barnett with Lucas. They're like tiny. They're like 7, 8 years
Yeah,
old. It's absolutely crazy to be seeing this.
amazing.
It's beautiful, really, to look at. Tottenham independent transfer story is just making fun of how Spurs do their lineups, with the squad
Yeah.
numbers instead of the actual formation. It would have been Bentancur at left wing, Johnson to midfield, and
To be fair,
Xavi at center back. Someone even wrote, would love to have seen Kinski be given a shot at the number 8 and Gray a shot in goal. Is what someone wrote in the chat. Which
to be fair, right? To us fans, it's really annoying. But when the lineup comes out, right, think about it how much it actually takes individually, each of us,
yeah,
to
we
work
figured.
out
Yeah,
what the back line is, what the midfield is, and what the forward line is, right?
it strikes
So I
conversation.
would only assume the opposition are also looking at it, trying to do the same thing. And all it's doing is just taking up valuable time before the game. So in effect, it actually might slightly be genius.
Yeah, or at least for us, it strikes more conversation during our pre-match buildups.
Yeah.
We don't just quickly wrap up. We're kind of like piecing together
Sometimes I'm
who's
sitting there for
where.
5 minutes trying to work it out.
We thought Gray was going to be at center back, and Paulinho, right, was going to be at in the midfield, but it was the other way around. So it's a fair point that you make. Uh, We've started this half like a job is already done, says Dean Sinclair. I think he was talking about the second half there. Just thought that was probably correct. Matt Hayes saying Xavi has had a few chances from the ball, breaking to the edge of the box against Villarreal, Brighton, and now Doncaster. And I don't recall him hitting the target with any of them. The quality elsewhere has been breathtaking. Dave, would you say that Xavi hasn't been necessarily clinical enough with a few little opportunities? I would kind of agree with Matt, despite his performances being good. Maybe he has had a few shooting opportunities that could have gone better.
100%. And I think that's where if I actually think about it now after, this conversation here, that maybe I was hesitant to jump on the bandwagon, of how great this guy is because, don't get me wrong. I've always said, yeah, there's talent there, but it's a different level, scoring and assisting goals week in, week out. And that's what we needed coming in here. And look, he looks exceptional player, and it looks like eventually it's going to click for him. He's going to hit the ground running. But I do think that's the level, he needs to start doing that on a regular basis to reach that sort of next level that people already have him pinned up as.
Kieran Wowzers from Joao Palhinha's heat map. I think he was doing his best Romero impersonation with all the touches that he had, in various parts of the pitch there. And you can see that one lone dot there in the opposition box from his bicycle kick, I believe that's
Love it.
from. So that's just class there. I'm falling in love with a lone player again
Never do it.
from Kieran. Own goal has been on top form for us this season. 3 consecutive goals today. Brighton and Villarreal.
Yeah.
What a player! Have to start him the next game. Absolutely must start. First name in the team sheet. Own goals.
We're getting a huge slice of luck. Surely we can't keep relying on it.
He's a clinical striker, Dave. Michael Hamilton, Archie Gray having a good game.
Yep.
I agree. I think Archie Gray, someone who I've criticized in the past, and Brennan Johnson, I thought actually had good games against this Doncaster Rovers. Andy Madley, the referee, should just quit. Awful referee. I mean, can we get one good referee this season? Like, seriously, has there actually been one good referee for Spurs this season? I know everyone was incensed about the Villarreal game. I think the bar is so low right now. I genuinely think the Villarreal referee was actually slightly better than the rest because at least on some occasions, he let us away with a couple of dodgy calls. Like Xavi Simons probably should have been sent off. And, he decided not to send him off, which is probably the best decision we've received all season, but it's not asking much.
He was shocking. I mean, that one on Danzo where he gave them the free kick on the edge of the box. I mean, that alone right there is just the standard of English refereeing at this moment in time. It's absolutely shocking, let alone some of the other tackles that he never booked their players for in terms of pulling us down on the breakaway and stuff like that. Just shocking refereeing today. But, it's getting to the point where I think it's just in general, even in Europe, we're moaning about it, I just think, with all the money in the game, start pumping it into the referees, to help them make the best decisions like you do to the players. Instead of pumping it into the technology and shit like that, actually pump it into the guys to make them
Yeah.
better.
If it were Liverpool in this game, Danzo's clearance would have been given as a red card for the Doncaster Rovers player.
For sure.
So I do think there's sometimes just Spurs, like, really, it just seems like so rarely do we ever get a referee that's absolutely calling everything for us. Gus saying he's just like me for real. Lucas is hilarious when a call goes against him. Thought that was funny. The Spurs watch saying, hopefully this tweet comes back to bite me, but not convinced Ontel at all. Needs a loan or something, because I just don't see it with this guy currently. Thought I'd bring up a reply here that I happen to disagree with. Brock saying accounts like this are the problem. He's actually been very good tonight. Crazy. But because the defender put him off in the first half in front of goal and then a whiff in the second half, everyone will pile on. The point I want to bring up here is that to say, like, he's been very good, but because a defender put him off in the first half in front of goal and then he had a whiff in the second half, everyone would pile on. My point is that's exactly the reason everyone is piling on, is because he whiffed an opportunity that you would expect a defender to throw him off. Like, what did you expect the defender not to dive in front of the ball, like to try to clear it away? Any good striker would know that the defender is going to make an effort to try to clear it, but a good striker would know maybe there's a chance he might whiff this, and like I just need to be able to tap it home. Tell couldn't do that, and then later on when he had a chance come his way, he whiffed at it again. So it's just like that's the reason people are piling on. To say that he's been very good apart from those things, it's just to me it's just insane. It's like, yeah, he was so good apart from the chances that he whiffed at. It's like, no, those are the real reasons why people are piling on, and that's not even including, in my opinion, the other like sort of moments there where you're kind of like, where's the striker? Like, he probably should have been there, especially when it came to those Brennan Johnson crosses, like we mentioned from earlier. A couple of them you were like, better striker would be on the end of those. Granted, Richarlison also whiffed at one, so we have two strikers that are just whiffing at chances.
Honestly, it's even the last comment. Get behind the players. I mean, I speak for most Spurs fans here, but everyone supports the player when they're on the pitch. No one's standing in the stands,
Praying for
ridiculing him
him
and
to
stuff like
miss.
that. Yeah, praying for his downfall. The reaction comes after the games to the performance, and that is something that is in Tel's control. The performance is in his control. To keep showing this blind love, blind loyalty, and blind support, I'll be honest, that's just a guy that's looking for, a load of likes and everything else. It
Yeah.
absolutely winds me up. Winds me up, man. It's just a joke. At the end of the day, the guy didn't play well. People are going to express their opinion. If you don't like it, don't be on social media.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just bring this up. Player number 900 for GHFC and one of our own, Luca
Come
Williams
on.
Barnett.
Legacy number 900. Nice.
Yeah, very, very well.
Great goal.
I want to hear the crowd hopefully giving this.
And even if he doesn't kick on or doesn't become a player that his talent, is sort of showing, no one can ever take that moment away from him. What a moment.
Yeah. There you are, everybody. That's your Twitter reacts. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for following along with us. Thank you for being there for the watch along, the pre-match build-up. We'll see you next time for the Wolves game. And, feel free, anything that we said that you agree with, disagree with, let us know in the comments below. And look out for the panel show the day of when this comes out. We'll be doing on Thursday, and plenty more stuff coming around. And if you do want to support the channel any further, consider becoming a member. Anything that you would add, Dave?
Yeah, look, I would add, why not become a member? We provide you great content in around match days and stuff like that. So why not? And, we'll see you back here for the panel show tonight. Job done, fourth round. I'm not afraid of the tune. There's no Alexander Isak. He's the guy that usually makes a difference in them sort of games and runs us riot. They're there for the taking this year. Let's see if we can go and take another major scalp in the Carabao Cup. Let's bloody go.
Take more scalps. Come on, you Spurs. And the Thomas Frank we trust.
Choo-choo.
Loving Slim Frank instead. See you next time, everybody.